Welcome to the show where stories unfold.
Let's go.
People doing big things, breaking the mold. They're changing the game, making waves every day.
Big move.
Shining bright with the work that is right.
Shine on.
This is Breaking the Silence with Nick
Nicole in the building.
Unleash your inner voice and make some
Turn
noise.
up. Welcome to the Breaking the Silence podcast with Arthur and Nicole. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your cousin, tell your friend, tell your neighbor to come over here and break the silence with Arthur and Nicole. Welcome to another powerful episode. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Silence. I'm your host, Arthur Nicole. I'm an author, transformation life coach, business and entrepreneur coach, graphic designer, and the voice behind this platform that uplifts everyday people doing amazing things. So today on Breaking the Silence, I am excited, y'all. I always get excited when somebody from Marion County come on my platform, y'all. I got to give it up to them. Like, we got some amazing people in Marion County. And I will be glad when I get more on the platform because every time they make me happy every time they come across and support me. So today I'm joined by Riyan O'Neal. He's a true voice of inspiration, courage, and empowerment. From the streets of Mullins, South Carolina, to becoming one of the most talked about names in Southern hip hop. Riyan's story is more than just music. It's a movement. So get ready to hear the grind behind the glory, the message behind the music, and the plan behind the passion. So after his countdown, please welcome this amazing gentleman to the platform. Hey, Riyan, how you feeling today?
Hey, what's going on? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming to be a guest on my platform. I am super excited. You know, I always get excited about anybody from my neck of the woods.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for having me too. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I gotta ask this question. Tell everybody, who is Riyan O'Neal?
Riyan O'Neal, who's he? Oh, no, I'm just joking. Riyan O'Neal, for the most part, I would like to say, he's a very humble guy, very talented guy, very gifted guy. You know, just like any other human being can have some negative sides and some downfalls and some, have a little turmoil that come with the beautiful things and the positivity that comes all together with Riyan O'Neal. But for the most part, I like to believe, well, I know for sure, and I like to think, very solid guy, very solid artist as a whole, looking to grow further and further in the music scene and music entertainment business, and have a bright future ahead of me. But I don't like to toot my own horn, so that's how I feel about it.
So now, I got to ask that question. When did you fall in love with the mic?
That's a great question. Honestly, I like to think, of course, I believe along with all other artists, the love for music usually starts, at a tender age, at an early age. It's hard to actually process what's going on in your liking and your loving and your understanding for what you're hearing and what's being put before you and what's been put into your ears. But subconsciously, you gain a love and a knowledge and an understanding for it. So I've always been a heavy fan of music, just being around my mother as a child and her playing the Whitney Houstons, the R. Kellys, the Tupacs, the Biggie Smalls, just playing some of the great artists that we still listen to this very day. Being around Pops, being around my big brother and listening to Kendrick Lamar's, the Bob Marley's, just always had a love, a strong passion and desire for music. But picking up the mic, I believe I may have picked up the mic when I was maybe 18, 19 years old and gave it a shot. And at first I wasn't exactly as confident as I should have been, because I would just get my feet wet and just wanted to see, just dibble and dabble with it to see what it could possibly be. And like I said, the love and the passion for music had always been there. But once I really started getting into it and started seeing how my words and my gifts and my talents has an effect on other people and elders and younger people, and just I believe my music is able to reach different generations, from generation to generation to generation. So that actually, about 18, 19 years old, that started me off. Yes, man.
Nice. But you know what? I think everybody I say, I'm not gonna just say Mullins, South Carolina, but everybody in the southern way, we experienced the fact of our parents waking us up on a Saturday morning,
Yes.
playing them oldies,
Yeah.
cleaning up.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yes,
It was
ma'am.
good old days. Good old days. Good old days.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now you picked up the mic at 18 and you
Right.
tried it out. Now,
Yes,
what was that moment where you was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to be in the music industry and I want to, make this more than just a passion. Now this is
yes,
going to turn into a purpose.
yes. The very first song that I ever actually recorded in a studio over a microphone, I recorded it over the two-part instrumental "Dear Mama." Uh, it was my mother's birthday, I believe. It was either her birthday or Mother's Day. I'm pretty sure it was her birthday though, and I wanted to do something special for her. And just being in school and just coming up as a child, I always knew I had a gift of gab and a gift of being able to put words together and make them rhyme, and a gift of charm too as well. So I figured, I wanted to do something special for her and touch her heart in a different way. And I can remember recording it and being kind of hesitant about releasing it and letting other people hear it because, it's your first time. So you still be kind of nervous to it. So, but yeah, after I recorded it and I actually posted it to my social medias, and the response that I was getting back from people outside of my family, on the outside looking in. And then on top of that, my family members, telling me, man, this is your calling. You got a way with words. My grandmother told me that before she passed. You have a way with words. You have a way of speaking and saying things to affect people in a certain way. You have a way of speaking the feelings and emotions that a lot of people are not, I wouldn't say capable of speaking, but they may not do it as well as I do it. And I remember the just the emotions that came from doing that first song and seeing my mama cry and shed tears when she heard it, and the response I got back from the people in the community and people of my city, the people of my county, and just people in different parts of the state. It kind of gave me a confidence boost, but I still wasn't all the way confident, all the way 100% sure yet that that was exactly what I wanted to do. Then my second single is called Lil Homie. It's on YouTube, Apple Music, iTunes, all streaming platforms, listening music streaming platforms. It's on all streaming platforms. I actually shot my first video with that song with a very talented camera guy here in Marion County by the name of you could call him Focus. I like to call him Pumpkin because he's my family. But Marion County, if y'all know, we know him as Pumpkin, but they know him as Focus or Dope TV or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And the response that I got from the video, the comments that I got, the shares that I got, the people texting me and telling me, man, thank you. You spoke a word that is almost like you spoke my life story in a song. Or people telling me how they shed tears when they hear that song, but it brings back painful and joyful and just all type of different memories and feelings and emotions from listening to my music. That's when I believe I knew, what, this is it. This is what I want to do. Yes, ma'am.
Nice. I know him as Dope TV. I've seen a lot of his work. He has some
Yeah.
great work.
Yes, yes,
Little,
yes, ma'am.
okay, so Little Homie. Okay. So what artists, past or present,
Hmm.
growing up, do you see as like a part of your musical DNA? Like, and how have they influenced your storytelling?
Mm. Um, I would like to say, I like to think anyway that I've always been heavy on rhythm and blues. jazz, hip hop, of course. But I think it starts. I believe, like a lot of great artists, we all start in the church, with gospel music, singing on the choir, or attending church programs in the evenings, and you traveling with the family to this city and that county and that county, and performing on the choir. And my very first song that I performed on the choir, I may have been, I couldn't have been any older than 6 or 7 years old, and I sang the song "Hold On, Change Is Coming." That was the first song that I led on the choir, and it was at that even in that moment, I could still, in this very moment, it's almost like I can go back down memory lane and still remember the feelings and emotions from the response that I got from putting my feelings and my emotions into over a song, into a microphone, and people responding to it, and people crying, and people, so yeah, I believe it started in church. I believe it started in church with the strong uh somewhat religious background that I come from, and spirituality, my grandmother, my mother, just my elders and my family, and just people of the community, people of, like I'm pretty sure just as well as I know, Marion County, we big on our spirituality and our religion, So
Yes,
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 ma'am. Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
we are. But you know
Yes, ma'am.
what? Growing up, you can probably agree to this too. Growing up in Mullins, like my mom, we're from different generations, but probably in the same situation as you said, grandma.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we had to go to church every Sunday.
Yes.
We had to, if we was in an activity at school, you don't get in nothing and don't participate. You had to stay in that from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
So now, this next question has everything to do with Mullins. Growing up in Mullins, how did your environment shape your overall perspective as an artist?
That's a great question. It's a great question. Um, well, Mullins, is not as known to the world globally as some of the bigger cities, and the cities with the bigger numbers, and more opportunities and more things of that nature to get into. But being that it is a smaller town and that it's so small, it almost makes it a lot easier to go out and find negativity to get into, or find trouble to get into, or I have my moments, and I've done some things, as a child, as a teenager, even as a young adult, just being a product of your environment. There's drug usage, there's violence, there's um, everything under the sun, everything that you can mention, both positive and negative, here in this little old city called Mullins, South Carolina. And I believe it shaped me to be the artist I am because, for one, it gave me tough skin. Mullins. One thing about us, down home country folk, they're gonna tell you what it is. They're gonna let you know what it is, what it ain't, who you is, and they're gonna be honest with you, and they're gonna keep it 100 with you. It's very humbling, and we take pride in our roots. So
Mhm.
with that being said, I think it helps me when I get behind the microphone, as far as pouring my soul out into my music and putting my soul on wax. It makes it a lot easier. And that just goes back to, growing up in the church, or being out in the streets, going to the parties in the
Mhm.
projects, going to the parties at the rec center, and seeing all the things unfold right before our eyes, whether they be positive or negative. It's just, Mullins is Mullins is something else, man.
Yes, yes. But you know what? I'm proud to say I'm from Mullins.
Any other time in the world.
Um,
Yes, man.
proud of it. So
Yes, man.
before I play a snippet of your song, one of your songs, I have this last question.
Mm.
What's been the most challenging part about building a name in South Carolina with the hip hop scene and the music industry, period? And how did you overcome that?
Yes, man. Well, South Carolina, we've always, I wouldn't even say South Carolina, I would say the South, period, as far as the hip hop scene and the music scene, it's very rare that they give us our credit. It's very rare that they give us our props, and we have the same amount of opportunities, or we are connected to the same amount of resources that a lot of the bigger cities and the bigger states are have, the opportunity to be tapped in with, because it's down south. So we got our own little swag, we got our own little vernacular, the way we speak, the way the southern hospitality, everything of that nature. So the South, even back at in the old days with Andre 3000 and Big Boy when they won the I believe it may have been the MTV or I want to say some type of awards, Source Awards maybe, and them getting on stage being one of the first Southern groups to win an award of that nature and being booed at the award show because they felt like Southern music ain't real music, Southern hip hop ain't real hip hop. You see what I'm saying? So they always gave the South and especially South Carolina a bad, I wouldn't say a bad rep, but we've always been looked down on when it came to the hip hop scene and you know the entertainment scene. But one thing I have noticed is all of the great artists from soul music to hip hop to gospel to rock and roll to way back in the 70s and the 60s to present day have come through South Carolina to make a name for themselves. You see what I'm saying? So I sometimes I feel is I wouldn't say not fair, but sometimes I feel is the South and the South Carolina specifically, we always kind of the last people to catch on to things, and that's whether it be music or entertainment or athletics or even politics and things of that nature. When they pass new laws and when they pass new you know things like that, South Carolina always kind of catch the tail end of things because it's such a small state. But we are loaded with gifted and talented people, and as of here lately, I've been seeing a lot of South Carolina artists, athletes, entertainers, things of that nature, you know, really take off into the music scene and the entertainment scene and really been doing big things. Of course, we got Mullins finest Janelle Sandab, I believe, just popped off and just, you know, she's doing great, wonderful things, and she's from right here, you know, Mullins, South Carolina, our hometown. So that makes us proud. We have Xavier Leggett, you know, one of the top receivers in the National Football League, from right here, Mullins, South Carolina, our hometown. That makes us proud. We got a local artist. You got Trap Dicky from Hartsville. Probably the hottest artist in South Carolina, hottest hip hop artist in South Carolina, one of the hottest artists in the world right now. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of names I can call, but I wouldn't want to leave anyone out. But it's coming around to the point to where I believe, you know, we're starting to get the proper focus and attention on our music and our entertainment scene that we should be getting. So it's starting to work out for the best.
I agree. I agree. There's a lot, but you know, there's a lot of talent, especially in the music, in Mullins alone.
Yes,
It's a
man.
lot of talent, but we come from a place where there were a lot of role models, a lot of great people. Because going to church, where at Marla Baptist Church, where I go, where I'm a member at, I had educators. I had educators like Eric Troy come out of Marla. We got Eric Troy. I had, you know, his father. You know, so many great people, Miss Willard Williams, Miss Fannie Simmons. Like, it was so many educators. So I had a lot of role models just within my church family. So just imagine going to school and they're your teacher, going to church and they're your church member plus your Sunday school teacher. So you getting double doses from home and church and school.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Mullins is filled with so many great people that have done a lot of great things, like Deacon Taff Watson. He was my church member. Like, all these great people, these basketball coaches and different things in Mullins. Mullins getting on the map. They're gonna know who we are soon. Trust
Yes,
me.
ma'am. For sure. For sure that.
So I'm gonna play a snippet of one of your songs that you sent me, Concrete Jungle.
Yes, ma'am.
I was born in a generation that's wicked and full of hatred. The teenagers is mental patients, criminal cases. They lack curriculum, gangsterism they up to date with. Packing pistols instead of pencils, no one can save them. Not even the preacher man or the role model. Prostitution and pimping, they don't know profit. Ain't willing to take advice from the old timers when they tell them grow and develop. Make some slow dollars before you chase that fast money or that stash money. Learn your family history before you bag something. Fight your battles with wisdom, don't be no crash dummy. Cause where I'm from, you fortunate to make it past 20. How can you and I survive if we don't unify? Teach the basis of briefcases, suit and ties. Move on one accord, let the critics scrutinize. The youth of our nation is where the future lies. So I'll let you decide. Look at where we came from. Look at what we've been through. Different day, same song.
So now you gotta tell me, what's the background of that song? Where did that birth at?
Yes, ma'am. Well, it started from me watching if you listen to the song from the beginning of the song, there's a interview clip that a old wise man from, I believe, Fort Worth, Texas. Where he spoke speaking on the modern day behavior of us black people. The black man and black woman and the black child, just the youth in general, black people in general, how we conduct ourselves, and the realities of the things that's going on around us. And just listening to him speak, and not only him, but like you said, some of the names that you called, previously, just here in Mullins, in my community in South Carolina, period, you run into a lot of elders, man, who were around when, their parents may have been the children of a slave or the grandchild of a slave, or and the way they know how to speak and speak knowledge and wisdom of things of the past that my generation may not understand. It gives you a different perspective and a different understanding of what we actually had to go through and how far we've come, and some of the things that we're still going through on a day-to-day basis. So listening to that interview, and with that interview, and combined with some of the great advice that I get here from my elders and my peers, and even some of the younger kids of this generation behind us, it inspired me to want to put my feelings and emotions and my thought process about what's going on here around us on wax. It's almost like I hate to get too deep into politics. I hate to get too spiritual, whatever the case may be, but it's almost like we live in a concrete jungle. Every day
Yes.
you wake up and you walk outside your door, and it's a jungle out there, man. It's a lot of different animals out there, a lot of different beasts out there, and it's like a dog eat dog world. You got lions, you got gorillas, you got tigers, you got bears, you got snakes, you got it's a jungle. When you step outside your door, is there's always uh an adversary force that's waiting for you on the outside of that door, and even it follows you inside the house sometimes. So
Okay.
yes, ma'am, for sure, yes, ma'am. So
Yes, I agree. I agree. I'm gonna tell you what took me with that song. When I started listening to it, I was like, wait a minute. The older guy talking is what hooked me into the song.
right, yes,
And then I started listening a little bit more. And then you came in and you started. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that was perfect. That was a great hook because just hearing him talk about his wisdom. And
yes,
then after that, because I didn't even know what to expect after that. So I was waiting to see what was next. I'm like, is he gonna rap? Is he gonna
yeah,
sing? What he gonna do? And see,
yeah,
normally, I'm not gonna lie. Normally, I hear the beat, and then I'm like, okay, if the beat is not good, then I'm just gonna move on to the next, next song. But that hook with the older guy talking drew me. I didn't even
yeah,
hear the beat at that point. I just heard what he was saying.
yes.
And it kept me there. So that was a great song. It was very deep, very intellectual. I love it. I can't wait to play it for the audience. But
Thank you.
now I ask every artist this question because I get different answers every single time. Now, what do you think makes a song a hit? The lyrics or the beat?
Well, I would say a combination. And speaking of, I'm just real quick, the Concrete Jungle song. Shout out to my producer, Mr. Brian Weeks at Driveville Productions. He actually created that beat for me. He threw me the beat and said, "Man, I got some heat for you. I want you to do something with it for me." I got you, man. He sent it to me, and like I said, Brian Weeks, Driveville. You can find that on all social medias. Social medias at DRIVILLE. It'll be Driveville or Driveville Pro or something of that nature. But just getting back to the question, I believe it's a combination of both because, of course, like you said, most listeners, the first thing they're gonna listen for is the beat. They want to hear what that beat sounds like. That's the first thing that triggers, the idea and the understanding of what you're listening to. So, because sometimes you can have a nice beat and the delivery with the wordplay and the message that comes behind it don't line up with the beat. Or sometimes you can have a deep message and a nice message, and the beat may not be as up to par. The flow with the wordplay, and the message that come behind the beat. So I believe it's a combination of both. I believe when you come together from an artist standpoint, just from an artist standpoint, when you collab with a producer and you guys are in the same studio or in the same room, and it's almost like you have to be in tune with each other, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's almost like he or she has to be able to put their feelings and emotions into the music, and it has to connect with the artist for him to be able to put that same feeling and emotion into the lyrics. You see what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
yeah, man.
Mhm. See, I get a different answer every time. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna ask you some out of the box questions
Okay.
to make you think. So if your journey from mud to concrete could speak, what would it say about you and who you are and who you are becoming when nobody else is watching now?
Yes. From mud to concrete. That's a great question, by the way. That's a great question. Um, just the title itself is, self-explanatory. But for people who may not understand, and the listeners or the followers who may tap into the interview, the title of it was From Mud to Concrete because I wanted to show the transition of that I believe all young men, especially black men, go through from being a child and seeing things from a child and understanding things from a child's point of view to transitioning and becoming a young man and seeing the world for what it is. And the storyline, the 7 songs on the album, from song to song to song to song, if you listen closely, there's a lot of transition of feelings and emotions. And towards the beginning of the album, it leans more so towards a dark negative side. But the ending song, Thankful, which is the last song on the album, it ends off that chapter of my life to where I come to a grips and understanding of, I'm no longer a sweet little innocent child no more. And I'm a young man, but the world is still at my fingertips. You know what I'm saying? I still have to go out here and make decisions and make a future for myself and the generation of people coming, generation of artists coming, especially here in Mullins, South Carolina, Marion County, the generation of artists coming behind me. But people have to understand, man, that transition, it takes time, and it's a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of sacrifice that comes with that transition. And with the next album will be, well, I won't speak on the next album right now, but the next album, I believe the next album is going to be even better. But I believe, from mud to concrete, man, I try my hardest as an artist. I try my hardest to make sure I don't slight the listeners or the followers. I try to give them 100%, the 100% epitome of who I am. The good, the bad, the ugly, the hard times, the good times, the sorrow, the pain, the happiness, the joy, all the trials and tribulations, the true feelings and emotions. I try to put my deepest sentiments on wax when I'm recording music. So From Mud to Concrete is a very special album for me. Yes, ma'am.
Nice. So now somebody told me one day that hip hop and rap, there's a difference.
Yes.
Now, I need you to tell me what the difference in hip hop, because see, the way they broke it down to me was Nas and J. Cole, they're hip hop.
Yes.
And what's his name? Oh my god, they told me a name. Kodak Black is rap.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that myself. I look at it like I like to think hip hop is more so uh, a rapper actually being an artist, but a rapper is somebody who's just rapping. If that makes sense, and that's not to be derogative or negative in any way, but hip hop or artists, I take it back, as far back as I'm sure like the Rakims, the Big Daddy Kanes, they telling stories. It's almost like you can listen to the music and it's like the words are painting a picture for you. You can't see it, but you can hear it, and eventually you will visually see it. And you can go out there and step out there into the world and see some of the things that they're saying on their track. And then the music, you can relate to it because you see it for your own eyes. But a rapper, I look at it like this: anybody can rap. If you can sit down and say hat, cat, bat, stat, you can rap because you're making words rhyme, but you're not. It's almost like, where's the story behind it? Where's the meaning behind it? What are you trying to? Who are you? What is the message that you're trying to give off? So I believe hip hop artists are what hip hop is more so of is from an artist's standpoint. You have to be a true artist and paint that picture on that canvas for the listeners and the followers. But if you just rapping, you can just get in the booth or sit down with your notebook and your pen, or go in your closet or your bathroom, however you do, and just rap. Just it's definitely a difference. Yes, man.
I like the way you put that. I like the way you put that. So, if you could sit down with the version of yourself before you started making music, what would you tell him about the power of persistence and consistency and staying true to yourself?
Yes. Um. Well, I wasn't. Just starting out, I wasn't fully aware of what all came with being an artist. A lot of people may not be aware. It's something that only artists or people who are creatives like myself and yourself. Is a lot of people think they see you drop the album and you make the music, they see the response and they see the reaction and the effect that you get from actually putting in the work, but they don't see the work that you're putting in. They don't see the struggle and the sacrifice that come with, you know, perfecting your craft and creating something that you creating a legacy for yourself and your family and everything that's connected and tied to you. They don't see the great sacrifice and the long nights, the early mornings, the tears shed, the plenty days and the plenty nights of feeling like a failure, of the fear setting in, feeling like I'm not good enough or I'm not doing enough. I ain't working hard enough. It can be a very it can be a very stressful career to get into, But I would tell myself, you know, um, I thank God for rap. I thank God for hip hop. I thank God for music as a whole because a lot of people, especially people like you and I, of our skin complexion or of our cultural background, it's almost like one of the last things we got left. Sometimes you see what I'm saying? After long days of work or a long day of going out there on that concrete jungle and dealing with all these beasts and all these different spirits and all these different uh obstacles that are placed in front of you, sometimes the only thing that can calm and soothe and relax your mind is that music. And I thank God that He gave me the gift and the talent to be able to put words over that music, to be able to affect people and, having a lasting effect, whether it be good, bad, whatever the case may be, just having an effect on people. It's almost like I ain't no preacher. My grandfather was a preacher, but it's almost like, people coming to church or going to whatever their weekly routine is to get that feel good moment for the week. It makes me feel good to know that I can do that through my music. I would tell myself, man, be patient, stay down, stay humble, don't get ahead of yourself, continue to work hard, and good things are going to come to you if you just stay true. Don't switch up, don't change, don't, because it can get a little frustrating at times when you look at other artists and you may feel like, you know what, he's not as good as me, he's not better than me, he's not a better artist than me, but he's reaping the benefits of the work that he's put in. You don't know what kind of work he put in, you know what I'm saying? But you have to stay true to yourself, you have to stay true to your passion and stay true to your goals and your ambitions.
Now you said a mouthful there. You said the music is something that might be all you have. Listen,
Yeah,
when you get older, if you whether you realize it or not yet, you know how like you go to church, your parents say you gotta go to church. You gotta go to church, you gotta go every Sunday. You go to
yeah,
church, you hear those hymnals. In a Baptist church, you have these hymnals that you listen to over and over again.
yes,
Now, as a child, you're like, oh my God, why, Lord? But then when you become an adult and you start lifing and
yeah,
going through things, then you start learning what amazing grace means.
yes, ma'am.
Now it brings forth those emotions
Yes,
of, as a child, you didn't know what that was about. But as an adult, now you know what amazing grace is.
yes,
So
for
you're
sure.
right.
For
Sometimes
sure.
music is all you have to come home to. And it
Yeah.
relaxes your mind, it relaxes your everything around you and puts you in a good mood. So I'm glad you said that. I never thought about it that way. But music is therapy too, though.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
It's definitely
yes.
therapy. Okay, so this is the last question before we play the segment for the BTS versus vibes. Now,
Okay.
you mentioned legacy. So looking ahead, what's one legacy you want to leave behind, not as just an artist, but as just a person who came from Mullins, South Carolina, and shaped your own path?
Yes. When it's all said and done, I know none of us can predict the future or predict the outcomes of, things that we go through. But I would like for people, the listeners and the followers, or even the haters, you know, whoever's willing to listen and whoever I can inspire and touch and reach and with my words, I would like for them to know that the inspiration to these words is there's a story behind it. There's a lot of things that I've been through that I still ain't even had put on wax yet. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of obstacles that I had to face that I feel like the everyday man, the everyday black man, especially black woman, we go through on a day-to-day basis. A lot of us are just not as comfortable getting behind the microphone or standing up in public or standing behind the camera and expressing it. But when it's all said and done, I'm not saying that the road and the ride is going to be perfect. I'm not saying that it's going to be peaches and cream and partying and it's all going to be some beautiful just story all the time, because I would be less than a 100 with my listeners and my followers and the people that I'm trying to reach if it's always peaches and cream, because I'll be selling them fake and phony. When it's all said and done, I want people to be able to look at me and listen to my music and be able to, touch bases with my story and say, he went through a lot, he overcame, he got knocked back down, he got back up, he overcame, and listening to what he's been through and his story inspires me and motivates me to want to get up out of bed and go deal with those animals out there in the jungle, or go deal with, I want to have a lasting effect on people. I really want to touch people's hearts, touch people's souls, But like I said, I have to give them 100%, the 100% epitome of who I am. That's good, bad, nasty, ugly, all the bad things that come with it. I'm gonna put it all on wax. And if you feel it, you feel it. If you don't, it ain't for you. No love lost. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely would want my legacy to be, one of the truest and realest artists to touch a microphone from the state of South Carolina and from Mullins, South Carolina, to be exact. Yes, ma'am.
I love it. Oh man, he said a realist. I love it. So now, most of y'all don't know this, but he probably don't even know this about me either. He's a podcaster, y'all. He didn't put that in his bio, but I know he's a podcaster because I do my research. I actually looked at your episode with Eric Troy.
Okay.
That
Yes,
was
ma'am.
such a good episode.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
ever since then, I've been watching you. I've been watching you ever since that episode. And I'm like, why did he mention that he was a podcaster?
Yes, ma'am. Well, honestly, that was something that kind of just came about like in the spur of a moment. I wanted to, and it is not to say that I have any responsibility for anything, because everybody's responsible for their own paths. But it's crazy because and it's not necessarily a podcast. And I ain't, you got the whole setup, the studio, the headphones, but you got it. You're doing it big for real. And I'm a big fan of your work. I'm a big fan of your podcast. I watch it. How you have the live streams of the artists playing, and allow people to come up and express themselves and tell their stories and speak their truth. I'm a big fan of your work. So you're a true podcaster. If anything, I was just trying to have some fun and trying to do something nice for some of the people in, my community, my county, in the state of South Carolina, that I feel like, what, even though we may not get the recognition we deserve, these are some of the most creative and motivating and inspiring people that I've had a chance to deal with. You know what I'm saying? That I've had a chance to encounter, So it was just something special I wanted to do just for my little section here in Mullins, South Carolina.
Well, thank you. But you know what? Just because you got the equipment doesn't mean that you don't have the equipment. Don't mean you're not a podcaster.
Yeah, for sure.
You were a very good host, and you kept me there. So at the end of the day, that makes you a podcaster.
Well, thank you.
So you did well.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're gonna go into the BTS verses and vibes. This segment I added just to put a little fun in. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna give you, it's like a mixture of, maybe I might give you lyrics to finish, or I might do trivia. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do the countdown, and we're gonna come back and I'm gonna give you the first question. It's only 4 questions. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is which of the following 90s? See, I love the 90s. I'm stuck in the 90s. Don't say nothing. I'm stuck in the 90s. I love 90s music.
All right, all right.
So which of the following 90s rap groups was not signed to Death Row Records? Okay, I'm gonna give you some options, strolling. Those options are Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Tupac Shakur, or Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Dang, he got it right. You know your stuff, huh?
Yes, man. I know my 90s now.
I thought I was gonna get you. Dang. All
Yeah,
right,
man.
so the next one. Which 90s hip hop group was known for their I might have messed that up. Mix of jazz and hip hop and released albums like People's Instinctive Travels and The Paths of Rhythm. All right, so option for that one is the Fugees, A Tribe Called Quest, or De La Soul and The Roots.
Ooh, there's some heavy hitters you just called too. A mixture of jazz and hip hop. Uh, Jazz and hip hop, and I would say this one I'm not exactly 100% sure about. I highly doubt it's a Tribe Called Quest. I highly doubt it's the Fugees. I don't know. It could be the Fugees though, or it could be a Tribe Called Quest. You know, all of those groups have mixture of a little jazz, a little hip hop. You know, so
So
in
which
fact,
one you want?
I go with a Tribe Called Quest.
Dang, you got it right again.
Yeah, yeah.
You know your stuff now. You know your stuff. All right. So the next one is these are lyrics. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna get a little tough. All right. So this is the lyric. I like the way you work and no, dang, that's gonna give it away. But you gotta play, you gotta finish it though. I like the
Okay.
way you work and no data. I gotta back it up. Okay. These are the options. I don't play around. She got class and style. You're my queen for life. Let's get down to business.
Mm. I like the way you work. Can you flow it for me? You make that flow for me.
Shoot, oh man, I can't even catch that beat right now. Oh man, no diggity. Gotta bag it up. Come on now. He said, I don't.
I'm trying to say the lyric for me one more time.
Okay, I like the way you work it. No diggity, gotta bag it up.
I like the
And
way you
then
work. Okay, and the options are
I don't,
I don't
I
play
don't play
around.
around. She got class and style. You're my queen for life.
I
Let's
know it
get
ain't
down to
no.
business.
She's got class and style.
You still got it right. Okay, the last one. You got the last one. I know you know this one because this should be an easy one. I don't know what they want from me. It's like the more money we come
Oh,
across.
come on now. Yeah, I know this one. Yes,
I ain't
man.
gotta read the options for that one, do I?
You know, I know that one like the back of my hand. Yeah, man. There's
Hmm.
P Diddy and Biggie Smalls. More money, more problems.
But what comes after that statement though?
I don't know. It's like the more money we come across, the more problems we see. Something like that.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
you got it, you got it, you got it. Dang, you ain't give me a chance in that, did you?
Yeah, I know my 90s and I know some 80s, some 70s, some 60s. I know all of that. Yes, man.
All right, so now this is your time to shine. Tell everybody like where to follow you, how to get in touch with you, all the good stuff about you.
Yes,
So
man. Um,
I'm gonna give you the platform and give the young people some advice too. Give them some
okay,
advice.
okay. And what's going on, y'all? It's Riyan O'Neal, Mullins, South Carolina's finest, South Carolina's greatest. I wouldn't say greatest just yet, but South Carolina's best hip hop artist. From Mud to Concrete is out now. From Mud, FROMMUDDTOCONCRETE is out now on all streaming platforms. Plenty more music coming. Have some more interviews coming. We have some more videos coming. And when I say we, I mean me and my producer and my team at Driveville Productions. Shout out Driveville Productions. Marion County's finest, one of Marion County's finest recording studios, one of Marion County's finest hip hop labels. Shout out Brian Weeks, my producer. You can follow him on all social medias at Driveville. That's Driville or Driveville Pro on all social medias: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all social medias. As for myself, I'm not as big on social medias, but I do need to tap in and touch up my social medias because it is a very lucrative part of being a hip hop artist, especially down here in the South and especially in South Carolina. For any artist who's listening or tapping in, any music career that you want to pursue, or entertainment career that you want to pursue, but you can find my social medias. All my social medias are Riyan O'Neal, RYANO'Neal on all social medias. It should be there on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and just about any other social media that's up and running right now. But like I said, I do need to touch bases and touch it up because it is a very lucrative part of being an artist and being an entertainer. And to the youth, the listeners, the followers, anybody who may be tapping in, whether you be from South Carolina, my home state, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Miami, up north, New York, and out west in LA, wherever you may be. If you aspiring to be any type of artist, any type of entertainer, anything you want to create and build your own legacy, man, stay true to yourself, stay true to your brand, stay true to your roots, and stay true to yourself. Stay true, stay true, stay true. God blesses those who stay true, dog. So stay true to yourself, continue to do your thing, continue to be motivated and inspired, and continue to wake up every day and put the step forward to be the greatest version, the greatest artist, the greatest entertainer, or create the greatest legacy for yourself that you can. And with that being said, I'm Riyan O'Neal. I'm out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and support me and being a guest. Whenever you drop music, send it to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Send it to me so I can play it and I can bring more awareness to it because I do music promos. So I tend to run my artists up until people probably get tired of me. I know they do. They be like, dang, she playing that song again. And it is.
I know that.
Listen to it. But thank you so much. And if there's anything I can do on my end to further support you, just reach out to me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you to everybody else out there that's watching this amazing episode, man. I done put myself way down there. This amazing episode. Listen, if y'all don't know by now, y'all done seen a lot of episodes I've had with amazing people from Mullins, South Carolina. And it is my goal. It's going to happen to put everybody that's major and not even major, all the greats from Mullins, South Carolina, because y'all gonna know, y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today that we have some amazing people in Marion County. And listen, we have to support one another. Especially don't forget where you come from. Always remember where you come from and bring them with you. Bring them with you. So as we close today's episode on Breaking the Silence, I want to thank Riyan for reminding us of what resilience, vision, and purpose really look like. His story proves that time waits for no man who creates no plan. In his words. And legacy is built by those who dare to move in silence and speak with intention. So if this conversation has lit a fire within you, be sure to comment, share, and follow the show for more conversations just like this. I'm your host, Arthur Nikki Nicole. And until next time, keep showing up, keep speaking out, and most of all, keep being a voice of inspiration, courage, and empowerment. Later, everybody. Thanks for watching another episode of Breaking the Silence. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.
Hey, it's your girl Daria Stu. Shout out to Nikki Nicole. Breaking the Silence podcast. Listen, I am so grateful for being on the show, you having me on the show. Listen, you had all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Very, very professional. Listen, girlie, shout out to you, okay? And many, many blessings to you and your podcast and what God have you doing. Listen, so much stuff is in store for you. Again, thank you for having me and talking about, my businesses and everything else that God is doing in my life. Listen, I am so grateful that God is using you and your platform to let his people be heard. Thank you again. I cannot wait to come back on your show. Your show is an amazing show. Thank you.